Why can't I sleep on time? How do I shut my brain off when it just won't stop thinking? And how do I stop overthinking? Let's begin. I want you to take a small journey with me, not outside, but into your own mind. While the world tells us to think outside the box, I am here to ask which thought should we even let into the box? Let me tell you something important. Overthinking is not a weakness. It is something someone is usually trying way too hard, way too long to feel safe in a world that didn't always feel safe. Hundreds of minds, teenagers, parents, and working professionals, here's one truth I have discovered. We aren't overthinkers, we are survivors of unsaid expectation, invisible wounds, and the pressure to keep it all together. Take Priya. She was a 21-year-old girl, once sat across me with eyes swollen, not from crying, but from staying awake. She softly said, I scroll till 4 a.m. Because silence scares me. It makes me think too much, and I just wanted to stop. She wasn't alone. She was just simply trying to survive in her own thoughts, silently. She was not fighting with the world, she was fighting with her own self. Another story, I just want to do an activity with all of you. Close your eyes and think about the moment, the last time you replayed a conversation in your mind, word to word, tone by tone, wondering, did I say too much or did I say too little? If you have ever done that, you are not alone. I wanted to ask you something. When you're overthinking, do you keep checking your phone, whether they have replied or not? Do you keep asking people for reassurance just to feel better? Like, did I say the right thing or not? And only for a while, that's where overthinking becomes a habit. It only gives you temporary relief because your brain tries to learn one thing: certainty feels safe, but certainty is rare. So, how do we break this cycle? The moment you allow yourself to sit with the discomfort is the moment your brain tries to learn one thing without rushing to fix it. The brain tries to learn one thing in that moment, which is I can survive the storm without even a weather update. I want you to take a moment and let's go back to our childhood. Maybe you were told that you are too emotional, or stop crying, or I'll give you a reason to cry. Weren't we all taught to be the good child? I was raised to be the good girl. And often being the good girl mean fitting into the society. Often being the good girl mean always seeking for approval. Often being the good girl means scared of being rejected. And thanks to social media who showed what a happy life looks like. And that's where overthinking begins. When your emotions are not accepted, your brain tries to make sense of all of it over and over just to feel safe. Let's be clear. Overthinking is not something we are born with. It is something we learn slowly, gradually, and quietly, often in childhood. Not from all big traumas, but from small emotional patterns. Like, you must be lovable to be accepted. You must be perfect to stay safe. Let me tell you, you weren't too emotional. You were probably raised in an environment which was emotionally unavailable. Let me tell you about Maya. She was a 17-year-old girl, the good child, always top of her class. One year, instead of getting 6 trophies, she got three. Her mother simply said, without any harshness, fewer this time. That small sentence stuck with her. Later, she told me, like, I felt I was not enough. Until then, overthinking became an easy way out to make her feel safe. Until that day, her mother looked at her and said, I know you tried and I'm proud of you. And that small sentence changed her life. It didn't comfort her, it began to heal her. And my dear friends, that's where overthinking becomes a habit. It becomes something that you linger on. And that way, overthinking occurs because your child's emotional needs are not met. In small ways, they start to believe that love is conditional. Now imagine carrying that belief into your adulthood. You become grown up, but the child inside yourself is still alert, still overanalyzing, still checking, still scared of being not enough. Because no one ever taught us that imperfection is allowed. And let's be very clear, this is not about blaming parents. It's about becoming aware. Many parents overthink too. Why? Not because they are bad, but because they have been raised with pressure and fear. I have worked with mothers who lose their sleep wondering if they were too harsh. Fathers who never say, I am proud of you, because no one ever said it to them. It's generational. But here's the good news, awareness breaks the chain. So let's reflect whether you are a teenager, a college student, or a parent. Overthinking doesn't appear randomly, it's a pattern built over years, from student life to adult life. So here's my message to all of you, start noticing your pattern of thoughts because that's where healing begins. And just when you think you have made it progress, just when you think you feel your mind is a little quieter, you open social media. Someone else's perfect skin, perfect morning, perfect relationship makes you question your own life. The digital trap. In this digital world, we scroll through a sea of people who look like us but seem to have everything figured out. Our brain quietly whispers, am I falling behind? Or why don't I look like them? We compare our worst days to their best post, our healing to their glow up stories, our self doubt to their curated confidence on camera. And then people who already feels not enough feels even less. The part already feeling not enough for ourselves feels even more less. I'm not saying social media is bad. Social media isn't bad. The way we internalize it, that's where the real pressure builds up. Each like, each comment, each glow up story subtly reinforces you to have a message, keep performing, stay relevant until silence feels like invisibility and rest feels like a failure. After all that we have unpacked, you might be wondering, okay, but now how do I stop overthinking? I don't want you to silence your mind. I want you to change the way you respond to it. I have seen a pattern. People come to therapy thinking they are broken, but they are not. They are unheard, unseen, and exhausted from carrying it all silently. And here's the truth that I have learned, healing doesn't start with productivity apps or positive quotes, it starts with safety. And the moment that changed me, when I worked with a teenage boy, Raghav, he said, who couldn't stop his thinking about his mistakes every time. And I taught him one small thing. Every little error felt like a disaster to him. And then I taught him one small thing. Before reacting, take one mindful breath. Just one. Weeks later, he came and he said, I took a breath before sending that panic text and realized I didn't need to send it at all. This pause avoided him hours of spiraling, saved him from hours of spiraling. There was his mother, Sunita. She said every little thing makes her anxious. If her child is quiet, she keeps replaying whatever she has said it to her. Sunita had grown up in a house where expressions of emotions were not allowed. Then one day, her daughter failed a math test. Her old instinct was to fix it, advise her. But this time, she took a pause. She simply said, I know this must feel really heavy and I'm here for you. And in that moment, my friends, she didn't comfort her daughter. She comforted the child inside herself, who has never heard those words. The moment we choose to respond differently, we are not just parenting our children. We are reparenting the part of ourself who never comforted. Are you willing to respond to yourself the way you wish someone would have responded to you? You don't need fixing. You need to feel safe, seen, and heard, even by yourself. So, what you can start doing by today? Number one, pause before react. Take a pause before reacting to a message, a thought, a trigger. Take one mindful breath. That pause gives you power. It gives you space between you and your fear. Name the feeling, not the flaw. Instead of saying, I'm so anxious right now, try saying, I feel a little certain right now. It shall pass. The moment you say this, it gives a small shift to your brain that this is just a feeling, not your whole identity. It shall pass. Validate before you advise, whether you're talking to a friend, a child, or even to yourself. Say this, it's okay to feel that way, or that makes sense. Validation doesn't make people weaker, it helps you to feel safe enough to grow. And the last one, my favorite one, which has helped me a lot, speak kindly to the younger you. So the next time you spiral, don't judge yourself. Say this, it's okay to have rest, or today you don't have to prove anything. Talk to yourself like you would have done to a 5-year-old version of you. That's how self compassion begins. And most importantly, don't rush your healing. You don't have to earn your rest, you deserve it. I remember one quote: "The flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare and beautiful of all." You are not an overthinker. I want you to take this thing with me. You are not an overthinker. You are someone who stayed alert when once life felt unsafe. But now you're allowed to rest. You're allowed to be imperfect and still be loved. You don't have to earn your peace. Peace is your birthright. Even in your anxious moment, you are still worthy of love, belonging, and healing. Thank you.